Hello, everybody, and welcome to our new podcast we're calling Get Unstuck and On Target. We're speaking with inspiring business leaders to uncover tips and tools to help you break down the barriers that are keeping you perhaps stuck. I'm your host, Mike O'Neill with Bench Builders, and joining me today is my friend, Emily Elrod. Welcome, Emily.
Welcome. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here today.
Many people know you because Emily hosts her own podcast and her own live stream. This is second nature to you. Is that a fair statement?
I like doing it. Yeah, it's fun.
Well, you're very good at it, and I've already shared this with Emily. Emily has given me some great tips, and I hope you'll find that the tips that I'm learning from folks like Emily, I'm putting into practice. We started these podcasts really to kind of step back and ask questions that might get beyond just the surface. And based on the title that we've adopted, because what oftentimes happens is when our phone rings at Bench Builders, it's because a potential client, they're stuck. Something has stopped them and they need help getting unstuck. And that notion kind of resonates. And so I've invited Emily to come on board because one of the questions I would like to ask all guests, but based on our prior conversation, I believe we're going to spend pretty much the whole time on this topic. And it goes something like this. Emily, can you share an example where perhaps you or your organization got stuck? And what is it you did to get unstuck?
Thank you so much for that question, Mike. So I can name countless times. I can think of yesterday as this is a very interesting time, I'll say, in our area is that we had a madman lost and has been out for 3 days. He had shot at a cop. And so everybody's locked down. And so literally I was stuck that I could not even get home. And I had to go spend the night at my grandmother's house. But it also made me think of other times when I've gotten stuck in my wellness or safety programs. What did I do? I looked at my process because I love processes as an engineer aspect, but also as a physiologist, how the body works process. I'm like, people, that's what I do whenever I'm unstuck or whenever I'm stuck to get unstuck is I go to people. And I think a key part of that is the gratitude that comes with it. So last night, I literally was stuck and I could not go home. I couldn't. So for me, reaching out to loved ones, people that care, people that I've invested in, and they are willing to invest back into me is where I find my greatest joys, but also really the times when I'm stuck, they help me get myself out of that hole.
I want to come back to that in just a moment, but for those who don't know you, I know you as a friend, I know you as a consultant, and I know you as a business owner. Would you mind sharing a little bit about the business that you run, please?
So my background is in designing machinery for the carpet industry. And then I morphed over into wellness and safety. So as I did as an engineer is I designed machinery for the carpet industry. And if something went wrong, like my machine that I helped create, like they'd come back to me and they'd be like, hey, what's the issue here? Well, whenever I got into the corporate space and looking at wellness and physiology, how human is designed, I was really intrigued on how corporations don't look at their leadership levels or how they lead or how they do some of their processes. And so in essence, that's what I do is in my team, I have an amazing team that we help companies go from stress to strategic by looking at their design and how they have their processes, how they have their well-being and safety, and how they're empowering their people to do what they want to do, but also need to do.
I've already had opportunity to meet some of your amazing folks. The name of your company is?
Workzbe. So my company is named Workzbe. It's taking people from human workers to human beings. So that's what the Workzbe is. And my son actually came up with the name of the company. Again, a time whenever I was stuck and I was like, oh, I don't even know what to do. And just, we were daydreaming about how we could one day have a company where mommy was not working 60, 70 hours and did not feel like a robot. And he's like, how about Workzbe? And I'm like, okay, let's do it, you know? So again, another time where these stuck all came from, and getting unstuck was with people, ones that I love and ones that I've built relationships with.
Now, the name of your company is Workzbe, but the spelling, let's make sure we got the spelling. It's a little tricky.
It's Workzbe. And the reason why we did that is because in the space of being a human being, you actually want to do work, and that work's called purpose. And so the Z actually has arrows going both ways. So interesting fact about our logo.
You know, I not noticed that. Thanks for pointing that out. You were beginning to kind of share some experiences of being stuck and what it took to get unstuck. But then you said something very interesting, and I hope we can spend more time on this. And that is, we all get stuck at times. Our audience for these podcasts are leaders. And so from the perspective of our audience as leaders, you said something about getting unstuck with gratitude. Can you elaborate on that?
So I think one big thing that came whenever you first asked me to do this, I'm like, okay, I got to think of a time I've been stuck. Because for me, it's like I haven't really, and I don't know if other leaders may come on this, it's like, oh, I don't know if I've been stuck. But what it actually is that every time I've been proverbially stuck, and I guess last night was one of those things that had to be like flashed in my face so much that literally there was parameters that I could not get home, that it's people, you know, and the gratitude, I think the gratitude that I have for people and their ability to help you in times of need is something that's so amazing. And it's what I call it as a blessing. And I think searching for those blessings in times of stuckness actually makes it perceive as if you were never stuck, if that makes any sense at all. And so gratitude is huge for me because it releases the stress, which is what I'm huge on, is talking about stress and how it impacts our body. It brings us an awareness. Stress is not always this bad thing, but it brings us an awareness. And for me, it brings me an awareness of gratitude in the moment that I'm in where everything could be wrong. My husband is in danger. My whole family is in danger. But there's gratitude because there was countless police officers. There were countless individuals on the lookout. There were countless people that I could have went to. And so the gratitude of that moment is the most amazing thing that I could say for me. And I think that has helped me the most to get unstuck with the people is just being grateful for that moment instead of relishing in the stuckness and getting deeper into a hole, being grateful that there are people that are like, hey, let me help you out.
Yeah, as I'm listening to you, I can't help but notice the parallels. I think you say that what you and your business tries to do for your clients is take them from being stressed to being strategic. I believe that's what you said. Mm-hmm. And to some extent, I can't think of anything more stressful than the sense of being stuck. Mm-hmm. And what I'm hearing you say is that we will all and do get stuck. Sometimes we don't want to admit it, but we're stuck and it can be stressful. And so if I'm hearing you correctly, what I'm hearing you strongly encourage us is that when you're in those times and you're experiencing that type of stress, it's an opportunity to look around to see all of those in your life and recognize that they were there and are there for a purpose. Mm-hmm. And you use the word gratitude. When you use the term gratitude, what does that mean to you?
It means to be grateful. It literally is to be grateful for or to see blessing in. And I want to go back to one little thing that you said too, is about this moments of stress. So as somebody that's really nerdy about the body, there's one key thing that stress can do if we let it. Its initial response is for us to have awareness of our surroundings. So this is what I love to do with companies is frustration eliminations. So where is stress coming in that people are in essence stuck? And what comes from that? Because here's the thing, stress can shut off your learning centers of your brain, and it can kill innovation, growth, and thinking. So I don't know any leader that does not want to be innovative or creative or do more with what they have, but gratitude is actually a secret weapon that I say all the time that I found in my own life through, I found it in work, but I feel like life gives me more leadership lessons that sometimes it's just like, whoo, God, can you give me one more thing today? Kind of style. And so from that, I've learned the power of gratitude. And that if you increase your gratitude, you actually can increase your life by 17%. We also know from the Nun study, by having grateful and words of gratitude, that you can actually help prevent some neurological diseases. So Alzheimer's, we know that some depression can be affected by it too. So gratitude isn't just like this thing that we talk about. It actually, as somebody that does safety and wellness, it is a key part, and leadership, to get strategic from getting that unstuck or stressed or whatever it may be.
You mentioned something. I want to make sure I heard this statistic correctly. And that is, you say that those who have a kind of a mindset of gratitude, did I hear that right? That they might experience up to a 17% increase in lifespan?
Yes. So what it is, there's a study that was done, and basically they looked at the increasing your score of gratitude and being grateful. And in that increasing of just by 10 points, it actually could increase their life by 17%. So comparative to quitting smoking, which we don't want people to smoke too. We don't want to encourage that, but that only increases your life by 5%. My theory that comes behind this, and I'm not seeing any research to prove it, but I know the stress response. And so what, in my theory, is that it helps lessen what is called cortisol, the angry coworker of the body, to go haywire and keep secreting at higher rates. And so less inflammation and less basically processes and hardship on the body. And so that's the reason why in health and wellness space, we actually focus on mindset and stress and resiliency before what you eat and how you move. For us, we've seen that be more effective.
You've described thus far how individuals can make choices in life. One of the choices they can make is to not get mired, if that's the right term, in the present circumstance, but be mindful of what in your world you can be thankful for. And I know you work with corporations of all sizes, but if you're not careful, this sounds kind of touchy-feely. It sounds as if you have introduced science into this, that in terms of if they can improve a sense of well-being with their employees, how might it affect an organization? Does it impact the bottom line?
Yes, it's a lot of things that you can see is it comes into psychological safety, creating a space. Gratitude is one where people can come up and just say what they're grateful for. And it lessens the burden of, sometimes I'll see this them versus us. It has to be genuine. And what we talk about is being a hot human, which is humble, open, and transparent. Whenever you are actually somebody that is a hot human, you can show gratitude in a way that is meaningful and can have impact. Handwritten notes is one of the best things that you can do, especially right now, because you cannot go and high five and do things that you used to do. And there is some science back behind it. It helps release oxytocin, which helps in connection. So those are some things that you can do. These little things that we know because this is how a human is designed. But for some reason, that has been taken out of the model. It's more of a blame people instead of look at how the people that you're working with, we all have the same physiological processes. So why not embrace that? And that's in essence, that's what we do. We embrace ways that we can increase. We have 4 things that we really look at. And that's that wellness, intelligence, safety, empowerment. It's backed by 4 biochemicals, which I won't go into all the nerd science behind it. But those are the things that we know can impact. Guess what? Gratitude is one of those because it increases trust. So it also helps reduce cortisol, so the stress. And so those are 2 key components that I see sometimes missed. And you can even do this in wellness or safety, gratitude challenges. It is probably one of my people's favorite things to do. Anytime I come help clients, I'm like, hey, do you want to do a gratitude challenge? They're like, what's that? And I go into it and they're like, oh my, this is so cool. Because I still have people keep those heart cards still on their desk 3 years later. Like, it's something that people can connect with and see and be grateful for in the long run, instead of drinking your water. Yes, we want people to drink water. We have fun with it, but you're also missing a key component with the gratitude. And so if you have people stuck, just try it. Promise it won't hurt anything. Just say 3 blessings in the moment, or tell people what you are grateful for them. And another trick that comes with that is what we say is use a 4-to-1 method. So 4 praises to 1 negative. If you only tell people the bad, you literally, every time you talk, you have them on hiatus. Again, stress, learning centers, shut off. Comparative, what if you said grateful things to them all the time? So whenever you do come with a constructive feedback, they're like, okay, I value what this person is saying, because I know that they're coming from a heart of gratitude, a heart of care. That psychological safety has been built so that we can actually have a conversation.
You mentioned a number of excellent tips. And what I can say is one of your tips is a way to express gratitude is kind of a throwback, but it is to open up a card and lend a pen to a handwritten note. And you didn't know this podcast is going to be recorded when you sent one of those very notes to me. It's sitting right here on my credenza. So I can assure those who are listening, Emily does in fact practice what she preaches, because I was the beneficiary of one of those notes. Boy, you're packing a lot in here, and I would like to ask, I know we're almost out of time here, but you have given us a number of suggestions that would help when a person feels stuck to kind of work their way towards. And one of the things you put emphasis on is the mindset of gratitude. What if we got folks listening who that's real hard right now? The life's kind of happened and it's really hard to see something. How would you advise? How do your coaches advise folks to kind of begin on that path towards living a life with more gratitude?
So I do this in all my classes. And so if you're listening to this right now, I want you to since if you're listening on podcasts, as long as you're not driving, get your phone out and do this later and go to your calendar some random time in the future. It does not matter when. Put a calendar invite and reminder. Do not do this at midnight. Please do not do this at midnight. But put a reminder that says, say 3 blessings in this moment. I've been doing this for years. And I'll say the impact that I get from people that have done this, because for some divine reason, it always shows up at the perfect time. And so what really hit home with me is one time I got an email from this person that put it at midnight, because we had a 12 o'clock class and then they had put it out. And she goes, thank you so much. Like anybody else, I'd be like, you put a reminder at midnight and I woke you up. I am so sorry, But she wrote to me and she's like, thank you so much for that. I had just had to sign the divorce papers. And my life was in shambles. She goes, but then that reminder came up. And she goes, that reset me. And that's what gratitude does. It resets you. So I hope whenever you put that reminder that it comes at the perfect time. I hope that you're not going through a divorce. But if you're stuck in traffic and it pops up, perfect time to say 3 blessings. Because what I've found is that a lot of the time, especially in America, because that's the sphere that I know the most, is that we are very blessed, but sometimes we miss that blessing by things that we overlook comparative to I have lovely friends that go on mission trips and come back and tell me horrid stories of things that they've seen. And it's just like how blessed we are to be in America, how blessed we are to live in a first world country. So for anybody hearing that, please go get your calendar, put 3 blessings in this moment. And I promise you that it will hit you home. So
Emily, this has been a delight to spend time with you. As I've already mentioned to you, I wanted you to be one of our very first guests on this new podcast. Why? One, you've become a friend that I enjoy spending time with. You can't help but be around Emily and feel just better about life. She exudes that positiveness, and it's easy for you to be around you, and I can see why you are as successful in business and working with clients as you are. Um, I believe the way we're going to do this in the show notes, as I'm going to include contact information to get hold of you so people can reach out if they would like to do so. So thank you for being one of our early guests. This has been a real treat for me.
well, thank you so much. It's been a blessing as well. Mike, you're always such an amazing person that cares for people. So I am blessed to know you and continue to build a relationship with you.
Well, that's very sweet. I am going to use that as an opportunity to sign off before I start tearing up. Thank you. But I do want to thank the folks who have joined us for this episode of Get Unstuck and On Target. We're lining up great guests like Emily that I'm confident that you're going to enjoy getting to know. We'll be uploading the latest episode every Thursday, and we hope that you'll subscribe to this podcast using your favorite platform, be it iTunes or Spotify, and we encourage you to invite your fellow leaders to do the same. For those who prefer a visual format, we'll be uploading a video version of this on YouTube. And if you want to subscribe to this podcast or to our blog, simply go to our website, bench-builders.com. Again, I want to thank everybody who has joined us. We hope that you've picked up some tips that will help you get unstuck and on target. Until next time, God bless. Goodbye, everybody.